Hey team, Catch22 here, and welcome to my latest episode. So, it has been a long time between drinks, but I'm glad to say I'm back into it, and I'm going to have a more consistent schedule going forward. So, today's topic is Hearthstone Pay to Win, and I believe it is, yes, I'll get that out of the way nice and early. Look, you can have a basic deck, and you can do okay with it, as in if you're really good you might be able to get between level 5 and 10, but beyond that it's going to be very, very difficult, and unless you've got an unlimited amount of time, that's just something that we need to consider. So I'm going to make arguments of both sides of it, and you can sort of be the judge of what you believe it is. From what I've seen on the Reddit forums and on various threads and all those sorts of things there, experienced players tend to sort of believe that it's more, no, it's not sort of pay to win. You can sort of, it's basically comes down to skill, experience, those sorts of things there. Whereas new people, which I think just as important as experienced players, tend to believe that, well, we can't really perform too much higher than, say, rank 17 and 18 because we're coming across these really, really strong decks that people have obviously forked out a lot of money for, or we've been grinding for such a long bloody time. So, let's get on to the support, or the supporting arguments that Hearthstone is not paid to win. So the first thing I'd like to discuss is basically all the cards that you draw is completely random. You have very, very little say, apart from cards like tracking that the hunter plays. You don't really have too much of a say, and that applies for basically both sides. So you don't have any control over what cards are going to come out of your hand. You can sort of predict it when you basically almost finish your deck of cards, but that element of randomness is meant to be a bit of an equalizer there. So that's one of the points there. Another point is people say if you become really good at Arena, you can be, and if you're really, really good, you can be what's known as an infinite arena player. So what that basically means, it costs 150 gold or $1.99 to enter Arena, and basically you keep on playing, and the more you play, the more you win, the more you potentially get rewarded. It's like it's like gambling in a bit of a way. And when you eventually get to either 12 wins, that's when it stops and you come out with all these prizes. Or the other option is, or not the other option, the other thing that could mainly happens 99% of the time is if you make 3 losses there, you basically finish your arena run. Now, the stats basically say that only 50% of players get past 3 wins. Now, to break even, some people, depending on who you read, say you need at least between 3 or 4 wins. Now, I've been playing at Arena for a while, and I didn't really touch it until I was 6 months into it, because you need to have probably a good sort of understanding how decks go together, synergy, those things there. Yes, I know pros can sort of work with any deck, but 99% of people are not pros and they don't stream 24/7. So just something to keep in mind. So it really doesn't pay for itself. You do get a free pack, but if you're new, you're not likely to do so well. So that's just something that you just got to keep in mind. Another thing is that you can do quite well with a cheap deck. So a lot of aggro decks, which is quite true. We've seen in the past, even at top tournaments, that hunter face decks perform quite well even against a lot of different decks out there. So you can perform quite well, but there's a lot of sort of despised in the community that a lot of people don't like playing face decks, and my opinion is it doesn't take much skill at all, and I really, really don't like playing face decks myself, but that's just an argument for. Now, top players are basically playing all the bloody time. So I'm talking about streamers here. They get a lot of donations. They get cards given to them. So they've got full flexible decks, and they know the meta sort of inside out. And I would too, and you would too, and I would too if you're playing sort of day in, day out. So that's not a useful comparison. I believe the game is absolutely terrible for new players because the matchmaking system absolutely sucks. So, for an example, in this game here, this is where the season reset happened. I'm playing rank 19, and there's 3 legendaries being played throughout this game. And I'm playing a couple of those legendaries, and the opposition person I'm playing is playing a couple of legendaries. And that is only at rank 19. Now, new players who manage to get past rank 20, which isn't too hard at all, get matched up against players like them and me, and I feel really sorry for people like that, and it can be a massive deterrent. So the matchmaking system really needs to be fixed up so people with comparable card collections can sort of play against each other whilst they sort of build up over time. The other thing that can sort of goes against this whole sort of argument is basically there is some really, really broken legendary cards. Dr. Balanced or Dr. Boom. It's basically a 7/7 plus you get 2 1s, and that's only a legendary card, and it's basically tough pluck if you've got a basic card. It's very hard to sort of counter it. Yes, you can put a BGH in, but the BGH, I believe, is a rare or epic card, so you need to obviously get packs for that. The last sort of point I'll make is people say you can grind, you can get the gold, those things there, and that requires a massive sort of time commitment. So just assuming that the average quest is 40 gold, a lot of people say you can get 60 or 100 gold. That is probably more on the rare side. More common, the quest that you get is 40 golds, and say if you're doing okay, you might get about 20 gold per hour. If you get average 6 wins per hour, that's about 600 to 700 golds per week, and after 6 months, you'll get about a fair bit of gold to buy 180 packs, but that 180 packs won't be enough to sort of, or be a good sort of base, but that just shows the amount of grinding you got to get to sort of get anywhere decent. This wraps that up, guys. Catch 22 out. Like, subscribe, comment. Cheers.